So when you think about it, salt is a ridiculous thing to build a civilization around, right?
On paper, yeah.
It's just a white crystal. You sprinkle it on your fries. You throw some in your little pasta waters. Maybe you use it to make a steak taste edible if it's been sitting in the fridge for too long. But yeah, for thousands of years, salt was one of the most valuable substances human beings could get their hands on. People literally fought and died over it. Governments taxed it, and empires built roads just to move it around to each other. Merchants made fortunes selling it, and at one point in history, just a handful of salt could help start a revolution. So today we're talking about the history of salt, and the weird thing is, this isn't a food story.
Ooh.
It's a story about survival
There's murder,
and food.
mystery, slavery, and all sorts of flavors of debauchery.
You know what else there is?
What?
An intro. That's the outro. You know, at this point, it's just a running gag. I'm not even going to
Good.
edit it out anymore.
You know what, dude? I honestly, who gives a shit? But we'll just whatever it is next time. As long as it's not the countdown, we'll go with it because
Right, yeah.
they're both badass. Hey, you know when I wear the hat, I gotta show it off.
Oh, world's smallest philanthropist.
Let me flip this bad boy around.
Oh, I'm reading it backwards. World's smallest cock.
Yeah, there we go. Boom.
That's the old trademark. There we go. Now
I wish you
everything
could do
looks
that.
normal.
All right,
Yeah, I wish I
back
could
to you,
too.
whatever the fuck.
I narrated it. It's okay. Yeah. I don't know if we've ever really said it outright, but we are probably the most unedited podcast in podcasting. Like what you see is what you get with us. There's not really much editing as far as mistakes and shit goes.
Yeah,
I know I jokingly say I'm going to edit things out all the time. I'll tell you, probably only once out of those 100 times have I ever actually edited anything out.
leave it in. You know, it's historic. It's a chronicling.
We're well, history shouldn't be censored, so you know
Yeah,
that means that we should keep things real.
right. You know we're real because we could fix our on-camera fuck ups, and it's not
Good.
laziness. It's a choice. Okay.
It is a choice because for one, it looks really weird if you edit something that's video because you can see that it's clearly edited.
Yeah.
So one take and just do it and do your best is the best we can. That's the best way to me. I could be
That's the
wrong.
budget.
This show could be one of the biggest podcasts in podcasting if we edited. I don't know,
Easily.
but we don't.
I mean, if we did, and really, that brings up the point. I'm glad you said that because now we can tell them we don't do it because we want you to succeed, and we would definitely kick your fucking ass if we edited. And
Yeah. It's more to make it a level playing field.
right. You know, we come in here knowing this was our sphere.
That might be the only thing we know, really, if you look at our work.
I doubt it because
I don't. Uh, so we're gonna go way back with salt. How do you feel about salt? Do you like salty foods? I mean, I'm not saying you just chug salt granules, but some people are more into sweet stuff. Some people like savory. Some people like salty, saucy, sweet and saucy.
yeah. I like salt. I eat too much of it for sure.
I think we all probably do. I'm very don't like a lot of salt unless it's a baked potato because it needs it.
Yeah, but see, with that, I just do a little S&P. You know, keep it basic. No sour cream. No,
Oh, no sour cream. How can you? You're just
just
raw
potato.
dogging potatoes
Like we in Daisy,
like God intended.
right?
Oh God,
Cut it down the middle.
that
salt and
sounded
pepper on
surprisingly
both
like
halves.
that. That sounds surprisingly like a daisy chomping.
Oh shit!
No food matters in that game. A Place to Call Home, by the way, server on Xbox and PC. I don't know if is it PlayStation as well.
No,
No. All
Unfortunately.
right, so if you've got an Xbox or if you've got a gaming computer capable of handling DayZ, join us on a Place to Call Home, and I'll try to be there more often. Which it's going to be fall and winter soon. I know I can already hear you rolling your eyes at me,
no.
but it's more of a winter game for me, a fall game, cold weather game. I don't know why. Maybe it's the atmosphere. It's a fun game, though. I
Yeah.
do find it fun. I just don't play a lot in the summer with those kind of games for some reason.
Anybody that knows that game knows it's like it's either you're into it and you're super into it, or because before I played it like extensively like I do now, I went like gaps. Like I'd
Yeah.
play it, I'd be like, fuck this game.
Did it
This shit
kind of
sucks.
just come up with like, oh shit, I played that? That you kind of got get back into it when Paul asked you about it or something?
Yeah, playing it with someone, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is pretty fun, but just still Daisy, so I understand.
But I will be getting back into
Come
it
join the
soon, and
server.
yeah, definitely join the server. It's a place to call home. It's probably one of the most friendly servers of any game I've ever played. And DayZ, love it or hate it, it does have a reputation for very toxic communities. This is not that. It's a great place to hang out, and there's cool people in there. Some of them regular listens to the podcast, so I say these things so that they don't kick me out of the. No, I'm joking. They're really
Yeah, right.
nice. They're really nice. Remember to say
Cool
hi
pick.
to people like Roadhouse and
Right.
oh, I get some of the other names mixed up. Bodzilla,
That's right.
Homie the
Let me
Clown
ask you all
Dog.
this. Homie the Clown Dog for sure.
I always want to say Homie the Corn Dog. That's why I was trying to pause there and remember his right name.
I don't think he's mine.
If they're listening, I'm sure he's just happy to hear us call his
Mr.
name.
Clown Dog.
And of course, it's one of the rare.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this because they pay us. They don't pay us.
No.
They do. It's one of the servers that does have an in-house DJ, and they have a lot of fun games and competitions.
That's right.
I'm always working when they happen. I really want to be a part of that boxing tournament sometime, but I'm always working when those are going on. But maybe you won't
And
be. Check it out.
Not just a DJ, sir. The DJ.
DJJ, the Mad Hatter,
That's right.
the House of
99.7
Chaos.
FM. Tune in.
Only on the game, not in real life. Don't be changing your radio stations that people don't use anymore.
Go ahead and give it a try. What do you got to lose? Just don't
But
have two radios on in the same place, because then the game will crash because it's Daisy.
yeah.
Anyway,
Now I've played in some other servers and it left me feeling a little salty. So moving back to salt, what a segue.
oh,
Uh,
that's good.
Salt, as most people probably know, it's mostly sodium chloride, and sodium is essential to the human body. We need it for things like nerve function and muscle contractions and maintaining a balance of fluids in our bodies. The problem for early humans was that they couldn't just walk into a grocery store and buy a carton or a container of Morton's, for example. For hunter-gatherers of the early, prehistory-ish days, salt probably, and we don't know for sure, but it probably came from a combination of natural salt deposits, salty water, plants, and animal foods. And animals seek out salt. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but deer, elk, elephants, and a lot of other mammals will find natural salt licks. That's why a lot of hunters illegally use that to draw deer in around us in our area. They use salt
You're
licks
welcome,
because
deers.
deers love salt. And cars. Deers love cars.
That they
But
do.
but humans probably noticed that animals were drawn to these things, and of course our bodies, naturally desire things that keep us alive. That's why we feel thirsty and etc. I'm sure you feel something if you're not getting enough salt.
Right.
I don't
and
know.
why these two men are sitting right here. Thank you, Salt.
Thank
Right.
you, salt.
Thank you, Salt.
But salt, it doesn't spoil, for one, which is great, and it also can help preserve things. So one of the earlier, developments in human history was food preservation with salt, because we didn't have refrigeration, we didn't have freezing or vacuum sealing or anything, preservatives, or even canning. You kill an animal, it's 90 degrees outside, what do you do with it? You can't, you try, but you cannot possibly eat the whole thing today.
Right.
What do you-
You'd
what do
be
you do with
sorry
it?
you did.
You will be, and no one's going to be happy. So,
Right. You hate yourself for wasting the whole carcass, but you were just so full.
yeah.
I couldn't eat another bite.
I tried.
All right, I did. I couldn't throw up.
I only got halfway up the leg. But salt, what salt does is it draws out water from like meats and shit, and it makes the environment less friendly for so many little microorganisms that try to digest and essentially cause decay of an organic matter. So it isn't just in the sense it's not something that just makes foods taste better. It also, helps keep food fresh. You can
Right.
that deer that you wanted to eat all today, but you cannot possibly do so. Now you can keep it for weeks or months because it's salted and it's essentially dehydrated, right?
Delicious.
Oh, delicious.
I love salt.
Now, as far as how humans' relationship with salt production goes, because of course, this is all natural stuff that you'd chisel away with your giant forehead or something if you were that kind of caveman.
Right.
When archaeological evidence will show that salt production goes back for thousands of years too. Not quite as far back as to cave years, but maybe. One of the oldest known salt production traditions, because we don't know exactly when it began, but one tradition that has maintained through history was from China, where people would produce salt from brine long before long before the rise of the Chinese imperial states. So before China was even an organized country, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were doing this thing where they would collect brine. They would collect salt water from naturally salty water or naturally salty lakes, obviously naturally salted water, or coastal environments, and they would evaporate the salt or evaporate the water, and it would just leave the salt crystals. So,
Brilliant.
yeah, oh yeah, and it sounds simple. The whole premise is get rid of the water, keep the salt, right? It sounds simple because it is simple.
It's easy peasy.
It is, but in other parts of the country, or other parts of the world, you may not have access to that salty natural water. Naturally.
Yeah. That sucks for you too, because that shit
It
is
does suck for you.
delicious.
It does.
I mean, you guys are missing out. Okay, this shit is good. It's the rock you can eat.
So, another method they would would use in other places where they would actually, bring the salty water to, your village or whatever, your tribe. People would build shallow ponds and allow the sunlight and wind to naturally evaporate the seawater, and then crystals would eventually form. You scrape them up, and there's salt. It's a method that we creatively call solar evaporation.
Wow.
And it still is used today in some places, and it's essentially the oldest major salt production technique.
Just let it dry up.
Oh, yeah. Just let her dry.
Right.
But in places where you couldn't get that kind of sunlight, what they would do is heat the water, the brine, over fire, and that would require an enormous amount of fires. You would have to keep cooking. You're basically reducing it down to just the salt. Just keep on evaporating until it's done. Yeah. So, that can take a long time. I don't know if you've ever boiled a pot of water. Imagine how long it's going to take for all of that to evaporate.
Yeah, like when you're doing it on purpose and not like, oh fuck, I left the water boiling.
Yeah, not just because you hit that bong one too many times,
Right.
or you got a little too drunk.
Hello.
Yeah, because in either one of those situations, you have no idea how much time actually passed, so you don't know.
Yeah.
And now the third source of salt would be underground salt.
Mineral
Because
salt.
yeah, underground there are large deposits of salt, and over time, of course, they became covered through history, and I'm not gonna get into the timeline because it gets really confusing, the evolutionary timeline.
Right.
But
Human
basically,
found rock.
rock tastes good.
Right. Me lick rock. Say, not bad.
That's
Might lick
actually
again.
you summarized that part brilliantly. That's the end of my notes there.
Me
I had a whole other
animal.
page.
You just shaved 10 minutes off this motherfucker.
That is essentially what it boils down to is salt good, salt in ground. Dig up salt, chisel salt, because salt rocks, is a rock. So it is a
Today,
mineral.
me want go lick rock again. Me no stop thinking about rock.
Eat meat, lick rock. Eat meat, lick rock.
Like fire in mouth.
Now, once people started to realize, as civilizations grew, and we realized how useful salt was, not just for seasoning, but for preservation and for blah, 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 like we've gone over, it became a serious trade commodity when we began to, civilization grew, I guess. And this is the point in time where salt became a commodity, because if you control something that people need every day, you have a very obvious opportunity as a ruler. Now you can
Yeah.
tax it. Everyone needs it. You can't ever
Right.
always get it. So, ancient governments actually understood this very well. It's been very well documented that that salt tax is one of the most common things over every civil, or not every, but over most civilizations.
Jesus.
Yeah, China became became one of the greatest examples of this. Salt taxation and government control of salt production became deeply embedded in Chinese history. And salt revenue became a very important source of government income, and the state developed elaborate systems for controlling production and distribution. It's actually kind of brilliant, but fucked up. Because you could tax optional things, like you could tax luxury jewelry, right? Like,
Right. You don't need all
people,
that fucking gold.
I don't need that. I'm not going to buy that. But what about expensive imported wines? Well, you
Right.
know, Josephi's down the road, he makes a good wine. But people
Right.
can always drink something else like that. You can just go to Josephi down the road. But salt, you need it. It's essential for your life.
You
And
don't
because
want your meat to spoil? Fuck you,
oh,
pay me.
is someone's salt levels low?
Why wouldn't you just eat the whole beast at once?
You absolutely could. No one's stopping you.
You seem to be a bit of a portly fellow. I think you could eat the whole carcass.
You've been doing a lot of gathering and not so much hunting, haven't you?
Oh,
Um, but the thing they found good about this whole system was you don't have to charge much per person to get a lot of money because everyone needs salt. People
Okay.
consume it in relatively small quantities, so you can tax really small and just spread it out over an enormous population. And so most governments have learned this type of form of trick for different things.
Oh, you want salt, huh? Well, fucking pay me.
Yeah, give me that fucking salt. You got to pay.
Want fucking
The,
salt? Fucking $5.
talk about $5, man. So the ancient Romans have obviously understood salt's importance as well. They actually had a road called the Via Salaria, which literally means the salt road. Yeah, pretty straightforward. I wonder what they transported.
Okay, all right. To the point.
Right to the point. I like that. Instead of calling it something
Right.
weird,
We just fucking call it what it is. No confusion, no interpretation.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be the sodium road. What's that mean?
Right.
No, it's the salt road. The sodium highway.
Salt. Everybody knows what salt is.
Salt, the other white meat. So the importance of the salt road was that it connected Rome with areas where salt could be easily obtained. It allowed it to be transported inland, which shows you how important salt was because they built a road. They didn't build an infrastructure around around transporting pepperoni, for example. They were moving salt. It was
Right.
all about the salt.
They're not like, yeah, we'll put it on this other road we've already built. They built a
Right.
dedicated road just for salt.
That speaks a lot because roads were not easy to make back then.
Right.
Actually, they were. You just kept walking a path until it was done. But
Good job, man.
no, I'm sure it was much more than that. We'll have to do the history of roads one day for a real thrilling episode.
Yeah, and how that history seemingly ends after like
Yeah.
the 50s. Or I don't fucking know.
Found the perfect road. We stopped there.
I said it's good enough.
It's good enough for my pappy. Good enough for me.
But I wiped my brow. I looked at it. I said, that'll do.
That's salty.
I'm done.
So, salt, of course, used for all these, the important things. But it was also, I don't know if you've heard this famous story that soldiers would get paid in salt in the Roman times.
I think
Have
maybe
you heard that
I've
one?
heard that. Maybe.
Apparently, well, not apparently, the word for salt in Roman was salarium, which
Salarium.
we believe translates to the word salary. But it's one of those historical stories that kind of becomes more complicated than just the
Okay.
popular story. There's evidence that Roman soldiers would receive various forms of pay and allowance connected with expensive, and salt was certainly important to the Roman military, but the idea that the Roman soldiers were literally given their regular wages in little baggies of salt is almost certainly an oversimplification.
Oh boy.
Thanks for risking your life. Here you go.
There you go. What is
Oh,
this? It's salt.
salt. We can eat again.
Right. All right. Well, where's the meat to put the salt on? Meat. What do you think you are, a legionnaire?
Oh, look at Mr. Centurion over here.
This man thinks his guy's off.
Over here, look, he's a Caesar. He wants meat.
Maximilian, come over here. You must do this.
Shut up and eat your grains.
Talk back to me and question your penance again, and I will beat you.
No salt
Anyway.
for you.
Cut that out, editor.
Still, going back to what actually happened, the association between salt and Roman compensation became so strong, rightfully or wrongfully, the Latin word salarium is connected to pay and eventually gave us the word salary. So it's oversimplified to say that they got paid in salt. It's just, I feel like it was probably one of those things like, oh, what does Paul like to say? His meager penance. I think how they pay us in salt. It's probably may have been a joke. I don't know.
I guess if it was that valuable, though, it's like one could say they didn't get paid in salt; they got paid, because like salt is that valuable or whatever. If you could
Oh,
trade
now
it,
I can afford to pay for salt.
oh, thank God, I'm behind on the rent. Just the right amount.
Oh, the landlord expects his salt, darling. So as the Middle Ages came around, salt was still essential as you expect, and is especially important still because of the food production issue. Again, still no refrigerators. If you lived in medieval Europe and had a bountiful harvest of or a large animal slaughter, you needed ways to preserve that food, and salt was still one of the primary ways to do that. So,
Is there like a? I wonder now. I'm gonna hit the Goog while you keep talking.
all right.
Is how long does salted meat stay good for? Forever?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't actually look at that. I doubt forever, but if you want to Goog, I'll keep to read. Okay, yeah. And due to the fishing industries of the time, salt was especially essential to that because it allowed people to preserve fish for a long time and transport it inland. Of course, there were enormous salt industries, salt mines, literally. They would develop along the coastlines, salt springs, and even the underground deposits where the salt mines, like I was joking, come from. And towns would grow and prosper around salt production. Trade routes would develop around just the fact that there's salt here.
Right.
Salt became so valuable that even rulers increasingly wanted a piece of the salt action. Sometimes they wanted a very large piece of that, and we'll move on. What'd you Goog? You find anything?
It said I just looked up like meat, and it said a couple years if it's thoroughly dry aged, how much
Oh, wow.
moisture's in it, blah 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 blah. Not
Okay.
infinite like I was hoping.
No, but still, that's impressive.
Years,
Like just adding this natural thing.
right. Imagine it's fucking powerful. I mean, how much refinement do you have to do for fucking salt? It's the rock you can eat.
Right,
It
right.
tastes good out the fucking gate.
Yeah, I don't know about the salt refinement
From
aspect of
mind,
it.
from mind to mouth, baby.
Damn it! I fought that hiccup. It still came up. It's in the name. Hiccup. Just
Hiccup.
popped up. Hiccup. I'm hicking out. So there's one country, because we kind of touched on Rome, we've touched on Europe, we've touched on China, but if there's one country that deserves a special place in the history of salt, it's France.
France.
The French salt tax became known as the gabelle. Salt taxation existed in France as early as the medieval period, but by the 14th century, the crown had established a major salt tax system. And the problem wasn't that it was taxed. Everything gets taxed, right? Even back then.
Right, right.
it was how it was taxed. In some places, it was relatively cheap, and others it was heavily taxed. And the government didn't just simply say, hey, pay a tax when you buy salt. They increasingly controlled every aspect of the sale itself. They could, basically, the French government could make people buy government-controlled salt at government-controlled prices. So it's salt taxation without salt representation.
I got you. No salt-free market.
Yeah. And what naturally happened, as it does, people started smuggling salt. And in fact, there were even illegal salt traders that were known as the faux sauniers, basically the false salters.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, and smuggling salt became so widespread that the government devoted considerable resources and revenue to fighting it, and the penalties could be fucking brutal. The gabelle became one of the most hated taxes in France. I forgot to write down any of these fucking punishments, but it was increasingly unequal because different regions had dramatically different obligations. So it wasn't like it was salt's $1 here, it's $2 over here, or $1.50 over here. It was more like it's $1 here, but it's like 50 over here. Like there was a huge spread, and it was dramatic. Yeah, it was crazy. I can't find like specific. It was this many denarii or whatever. It was just
right.
I'm going off of what I gather from context of what I've been reading about it.
Like if you're from the wrong place, well,
yeah,
gonna,
you're gonna pay.
Yeah,
that's that
just
premium
I don't
salt.
Like you, I don't like you. That's why I'm taxing you so high.
No, those people over in that village, they smell. Raise their taxes.
Right. Oh, that's roofing. I'm raising taxes.
Let's see. Eventually, the resentment surrounding taxes like the gabelle, that wasn't the only tax that was outrageous, by the way. It contributed to a broader anger that exploded in the form of the French Revolution. And, of course, not just about salt, but salt. There were so many underlying things. Salt was just one of the many. And the French Revolution is what caused the gabelle tax to be no more. It's gone in 1790. But governments have a hard time letting go of profitable ideas like that, and the tax was brought back under Napoleon, and it didn't disappear until 1945.
Love his ice cream.
Oh yeah, his Napolitan ice cream, Napoleon ice cream. Yeah, it's just a little small though.
They even make it the colors of the French flag.
White, pink, and poop. So yeah, for roughly 6 centuries is how long this tax turmoil was going on and off.
Jesus Christ.
Now, salt, of course, is just as important in North America, even before we, colonized it. Indigenous peoples would use natural salt resources and produce salt in various ways before the Europeans came over. It didn't take the Europeans long because, as we do, we find something that looks amazing, and we just take all of it. They discovered the value of North American salt springs and salt deposits, and they just began their salt productions here.
Jesus.
During the American Civil War, salt became strategically important because the Confederacy depended heavily upon preserving meat. Us here in the South, as you can tell, still big meat-eating peoples.
Right, folks, we sell salted hams in plastic.
We do. That's an important thing here.
Salted. And it's good. It's good.
Union blockades were even made to make salt importing more difficult, and they would Union forces would even target salt works, salt factories. In the midst of the Civil War, this is an interesting fact I found. The price of salt in the South increased to more than 50 times its pre-war levels. So we complain about gas right now, but imagine if it went up 50 times what it started at.
That'd be a little rough, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, salt.
Yeah.
Again.
That's just crazy. The little white crystals sitting on your kitchen table were directly connected to that.
The ones in the shaker.
One's in the
That's a
shaker.
gooder.
The one in the grinder, too, the good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck with some ground up salt.
Now, as you can see, a lot of this comes down to how difficult it was to get salt in your region, right? Like,
Right, right. That's
a
the
lot of
obvious logical thing there.
yeah, I mean, that's just the problem throughout history is getting it, digging it up, evaporating the water, whatever, hauling it, crushing it, transporting it. The Industrial Revolution came around and changed the scale of that operation, and steam power and pumps, improved mining equipment, railroads, and better evaporation technology made it possible to produce salt in enormous quantities. And one of those things was called the vacuum pan. I'm not going to get into that because it's kind of... The basic gist is this. What it would do is it
Yeah.
lowers the temperature at which water will boil. So
Okay.
the result is that you get a much easier way to evaporate the brine and just have highly pure salt quicker, is basically what it was.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
pretty brilliant.
Yeah, and this is also when mining technology was improving, so you could drill underground salt deposits and pump water down into them, which dissolves the salt. God damn it.
And then
And the
got
brine,
brine.
and then the brine, yeah, you get it. The brine comes up, and that's called solution mining.
The juices.
Uh, that salt mine thussy. You make it gush.
Oh, not the saltus.
You make it squirt, baby. Squirt that salty brine.
God,
Oh,
salty.
oh, get it on my face, yeah.
Do it again.
Get it on my meat, my steak.
Well, maybe it should go back.
Oh yeah, spit on it. Wait a minute. Basically, the way I like to think of this is we turn the earth itself into a giant salt shaker. God, I stepped on that, but still.
Okay. Giant
Yeah.
salt shaker.
Yeah, yeah. Now, getting into further industrial era, such as like from the late 19th to early 2000s, early 20th century, salt also became to be used as a base or a solution for industrial chemicals such as chlorine, caustic sodas, and other chemicals. It was just because it's a mineral, it's part of the chemistry process. And they used it in a lot of different industries: manufacturing, textile, leather processing, metallurgy,
Wow.
metal production, water treatment, and eventually even road maintenance, as you see nowadays. Still with snow and shit, ice. We use a lot of salt still. This kind of started back then. And when you think the word salt, you think food, but that's not always what it is. It's interesting.
It's the mineral,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not the condiment.
No.
But sometimes it's the condiment. 'Cause
Sometimes it's
all
just
salt.
sometimes it's just a condom when you're busting open those salt pussies.
All right. It's salt. Pussy.
So moving a little bit ahead to the 1800s, salt became another weapon of politics once again, like it kind of did back in the Roman days. But this time it was in British-controlled India. Salt was extremely important. It was especially important, rather, in India because the country only had an abundant natural resources of salt along its coastline. So it's a gold mine of salt, right? A salt mine, if you will.
Salt mine of salt.
Yeah, but the British government imposed laws controlling salt production and sales and collected a salt tax. And the salt tax of 1882 prohibited the people, nationals, I guess you call them, the people naturally there.
Yeah.
They could no longer freely collect or sell their own salt. So this was particularly controversial because salt wasn't just some luxury imported from around the world. It was right there on their beach.
Right.
It was
Like, what do you
on
mean?
their fucking land.
It's
Yeah, and
it's
these-
my salt. It's been my salt.
yeah.
What are you talking about?
And these British powdered wig wearing motherfuckers said, no, you can't do it anymore. It's ours.
They came and they said, "Bip bip cheerio, this is our fucking salt now. Pay me money."
Basically. And it didn't just affect anybody, or like, it didn't affect just the poor people. It affected the rich people. It affected Hindus, Muslims, farmers, workers, anyone in India it fucked with you. Everyone needed salt, right?
Yes.
And one person realized that breaking the salt law could become an incredible, powerful act of protest. So you wanted to guess what his name is. To give you a hint here, this happened. His act of protest happened in 1930, in March of 1930, and he is a very well-known name.
I don't know.
Gandhi.
Fuck.
I knew I was going to fuck that name up somewhere. Gandhi.
Fuck. I should have said it. I should have said it.
Did you think of that?
I did, but I hate saying that afterwards because it's like, yeah, I was thinking that.
No. I could tell by your reaction that legitimately, knowing you, yeah, you were thinking it and you were like, nah, that can't be. That's too obvious.
Idiot. Don't say that.
and if you're like me, you also have a hard time of recognizing when famous figures like that were actually here, because it's hard to imagine a name like Gandhi was here on Earth at the same time as other figures. That it's just kind of mind-blowing.
Right. And like a lot of stuff you remember from school and stuff, the sequence in which you learn it, it's hard to remember that like a lot of the historical events happen at the same time. And so it's like, oh no, Gandhi, that's like when Hitler's doing his thing, man. Gandhi's some other time period. Don't fucking know.
Yeah. While Hitler's doing his things, the Three Stooges are doing their thing in America at the same time, which is kind of crazy to think about. the duality of man.
And we're depressed. Greatly.
But in March of 1930, Gandhi and about 78 followers began walking from his, it says ashram, and I looked up what that was before I put it in my notes. Now I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm just going to say it was probably his establishment, his compound or whatever.
Like a building.
Is it maybe it's just a shack. I honestly don't remember what it was.
It's a thing.
What is an ashram? Okay, it's basically a building.
No, it's about what a building is.
It's
basically the same thing.
It's a spiritual thing. It's basically where like a figure or someone who wants to be super religious or super whatever he was. I don't know what you'd call it. I don't want to disrespect the guy. I don't know anything about him.
Right?
It might be a Hindu thing, but it's basically where you go to meditate and find your inner peace. It's your sanctuary of solitude or whatever. But they marched roughly. Well, marched is probably the wrong word. They walked roughly about 240 miles, and as they went, more people joined their protest, and they arrived at the coast on April 6th of that same year, because obviously 1930. They reached the coast, and Gandhi himself broke the British salt law by collecting salt.
Ooh.
Now, it sounds kind of like in the grand scheme of everything, seems pretty insignificant.
Big deal. I take salt packets from restaurants all the time.
Right, and the British Empire ruled over hundreds of millions of people. And Gandhi's act of rebellion was basically, I'm just going to pick up some salt. And his point was, the law was so absurdly intrusive that an ordinary person could participate in resistance simply by picking up salt.
Yeah, thinking about that, it's like, wait, that's the crime, is just picking up. You just walked over to the coast and picked up some salt. Like, oh, what do you think you're doing? You've got to pay for that.
This basically started a widespread civil disobedience, though. Thousands of people were arrested, including Gandhi, and the campaign received international attention. Eventually, the laws would disappear, and India would regain its independence in 1947, but what had happened, and it was a symbol of resistance now to many people.
Damn.
But while that was going on, at the same time in the rest of the world, salt was becoming cheaper. Because of all that we talked about earlier, the industrial production, the improved transportation, the mechanization, and all that kind of shit. Basically, salt could be produced and moved on a scale that the ancients could not have possibly imagined. And so something that once required specialized labor and access to particular geographical locations was now mass-producible. And fundamentally changed the relationship humans had with salt.
It kind of shows how, like, just a little mineral can build empires. Because, I mean, if you can save your food, you're leagues ahead.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for that. With salt, like, the preservation alone If it had no other purposes, if it could just be used to preserve food, that alone feeds your armies and shit. I mean,
And I
you can
almost
be on the
wonder,
move
like,
for expeditions and shit.
do people actually like salt, or is it like over time we've grown to like salt because of like so many cultures using it to preserve for so long? Like, yeah, it's salt taste.
I'm
You know what
gonna
I mean?
throughout my conspiracy theory. I don't think I actually researched this,
All
but I
right.
also spent some
Hit
nights
me.
pretty high reading this. But maybe, and I'm just going off based off of everything else we have. And the only caveat here is that salt is a naturally occurring substance, right?
Right. Or
But
so they tell us.
or so Big Salt says. But what if salt has been manufactured and conditioned to be saltier tasting now than it was back then?
Yeah, like how cigarettes are more addictive, like with the shit they put in the filters compared to like
Right.
just smoking tobacco.
I was thinking candy bars, but yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, both will kill. I mean, but the salt problem is dead, and maybe because of that, what you said, like it's engineered to be like, oh, the salt is, damn, that shit's.
Oh, super salty today.
I can remember being a fucking kid and doing dumb shit like you lick your finger and God forbid anybody got a bowl of salt out because I was that asshole. You do it and I just like eat the straight salt, and now I'm looking back like, what the fuck was wrong with you? You have some kind of
now,
deficiency or something?
now, I we did genetically modify salt in a way. I'm just about to get into that. I didn't even think I completely forgot about this. But you notice that a lot of salt you see today, when you pick up the label, you pick up the container, whatever, it'll say iodized salt, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because scientists back in the early 20th century had established a connection between iodine deficiency and thyroid problems, particularly goiter, which sounds awful. You got a goiter. Virtually everyone eats salt, obviously. It was an extremely efficient way to deliver small amounts of iodine into the population. So they start iodizing salt just for these health issues. It's kind of like how the fluoride water thing, which everyone freaks out about.
I was about to fucking say, man.
It's
It's
that.
crazy. I've never heard that about iodine and salt, but you hear it about fucking fluoride and water. The salt
Right.
is what's brain controlling us, folks. Brain controlling.
And
See? It's working.
And see, we didn't start even manufacturing iodized salt commercially. Like they're already putting it in the salt already, right?
Mm-hmm.
On a big scale, but selling it commercially, specifically saying iodized salt, that didn't start till 1924. So they were going on before that, and basically the whole idea was take something that people already consumed, add a small amount of the necessary nutrient, and then suddenly every household has this thing. So whether you want to or not, you're part of this big public health strategy.
It's like fucking wrapping a pill up in a piece of cheese to give to a dog or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that.
No. It's just cheese, man. Come on, you love it. It's
It's
good.
just cheese. It's just salt. Just put it in on your fries.
It's your favorite. Come on.
Now today we still use we still have they're the big three of major salt sources: solar evaporation, rock salt mining, and that vacuum evaporation that we were talking about earlier. Those are all three still used, and but there's just so much of it now. Modern producers use massive underground salt mines, solution mining, evaporation ponds, and industrial processing facilities. So it's all become very industrial.
Fuck.
Yeah,
It's a lot
it's
of
just
stuff.
crazy. And like I said earlier, we use it for food processing or for preservation.
Yeah.
We use it for making chemicals. We use it for water treatments, de-icing roads. Agriculture uses it for a lot of things. Pharmaceuticals use it.
Everything.
It's literally in everything.
It's the
And
mineral of life. I give you life.
it give you life, man.
You're welcome. You'll not even say thank you.
So, yeah, you can look at history and look at different minerals in the earth that it's literally just a mineral we pull out of the earth, like gold, silver, oil, or diamonds, and they look extremely valuable. And salt comparatively looks like Nothing, because what else can you do with it on the surface?
It's fucking salt. Right?
But really, you can do more things with that than you can these other so-called valuable minerals.
I think the fact you can eat it is like, all right, it wins. It's best mineral.
Yeah, yeah.
You can eat it, and it's what you want. I mean, it's delicious. It's salt.
It's the other white meat.
Right. The dark meat is the pepper. Black pepper. Tune in next week for the history of fucking black pepper, baby.
Oh, I wonder. You know what? That probably
Big
ends up being a lot crazier. I'll bet.
For spices in general. You know, if we ever do one about the
History of
Silk Road,
spices. Yeah, yeah.
history of the spice trade.
But this has been the history of salt, by the way. End of this episode. It didn't go very, very long today, but that's the history of salt. I didn't want to get in. I didn't want to get into crazy details. I thought it'd be good just to keep with the political and societal things about salt, I guess, because it's a broad topic when you start getting into other things. But yeah, that's the history of salt, everybody.
That's it. If you didn't know what salt was before, then you're welcome. And we were happy to, help you learn what that weird glass container had in it this whole time. And that actually brings me up to this one time